Yo,
There we are.
there we go.
I was wondering for a second if it was going to pop
Yeah,
up.
no, I was like, I hadn't done this in a while. I'm a little rusty.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for everybody who's already tuned in a little bit. I guess we'll just get right into it. This is not going to be a normal podcast episode, but we will start it and probably end it the same way, I think, and specifically talk about the baseball game tonight. It's a good thing
Mhm.
when we do these lives when we win, because when you lose, I don't know if we've done it yet, which I might be jinxing
Yeah,
it.
and like we committed. I was like, hey, we're going live after the game.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
know.
we teased it during the afternoon, and then as the game rolled on and the
Mhm.
beers kept flowing, I was like, I don't know if that'd be such a great idea, but here we are. So I don't know if we're gonna be all night long, but anyway, greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the live version of To the Top Talk, brought to you by, of course, Mugshots Grill and Bar. To the Top Talk is the original and longest running Southern Miss podcast in the market. We're recording this on after the Tulane game. What day is it, Pilo?
It is March 26th.
From beautiful Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Here, as always, with your break from the High Resource 5 propaganda to talk a little Southern Miss athletics. I'm your host, Jason Bailey. Joining me now, obviously, Pilo.
Yo,
So, what do you think about the game tonight, dude?
man, it was a good one. I think it had vibes of like the Bama game a little bit. It kind of got the offense going. Obviously I wasn't there for the Bama game, unfortunately. Um,
Well, it's good to know that you weren't the reason that we won. Like your absence from the Bama game
that's
wasn't the
right.
reason that we won.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Because if you showed up tonight and we laid an egg, we would have probably leaned that direction.
Yeah, I'm done with that. I can take the blame. Whatever it takes.
No doubt.
We do want to encourage you if you have a question, you want to hear from, you want to voice something, you want to rant, you want to, if you're not happy with 9 runs and you want to let us know, feel free to make that comment on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, wherever you're watching. Let us know. We'll throw it up on the live. So make sure you do that.
Yes, and obviously, I know we've been talking about this call-in show that we're going to do eventually, and
Mhm.
it's still it's. I mean, we are like inches away. People are
Yeah.
probably,
Tired of hearing about it,
tired of
probably.
hearing about it. Yeah, it's like hearing about us talk about going live with call-ins is akin to Southern Miss fans wanting to hear about the Reed Green Coliseum renovation. I think but we are closer than that. We will be live before the renovation gets done,
Yes.
guaranteed. We just look. You got to get the right thing. You got to make sure you're getting the right deal, and so Pilo is on it, and keeps giving me updates. So we're really close to getting that going. This live episode, of course, is brought to you by Mugshots in Hattiesburg, the South's premier sports grill and bar. Go by Mugshots. It's awesome.
Yep.
And it all started right here in Hattiesburg 20 years ago. At Mugshots, they're always having a good time. Happy hour specials daily. And with 18 specialty burgers, they've got you covered. Go see our good friends at Mugshots in Hattiesburg today. Mugshots, delivering craveable food and personalized hospitality to friends and family in a place obsessed with sports.
Yeah. Hey, look at this. Check this little comment out.
Gotcha.
I agree. A little post game live content. That's what we're here about. Lots of folks on already too. That's good to see. Number is
Nice.
steadily climbing.
Yeah. So obviously, we're just going to be talking about the baseball game tonight. Anybody who's there, anybody who watched on TV, hey, especially if you watched on TV, really, because Bacon Russell, we're up there. We took some food late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if we got a shout out or not, but I guess somebody can tell us. But just to run through the stats really quick, the box score reads a 9-4 victory for Southern Miss over Tulane, or Tulane, however you want to slice it.
Tulane.
The Golden Eagles with 14 hits, only 6 hits for Tulane, 1 error apiece. J.W. Armistead credited with the win. He goes to 1-1. Michael Lombardi takes the loss for Tulane, goes to 1-2. The game took just over 3 hours, which is kind of normal for a midweek game. Lots of pitching changes.
Yeah, they threw a ton of people.
And both teams normally do, especially in this kind of week, right? So you got a Thursday, Friday, Saturday coming up instead of a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's a quick midweek after you just got through playing a weekend series. So you expect a lot of pitching changes, but McCarty English started for Southern Miss tonight.
Mhm, mhm.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah.
What? I mean, you can reflect on what you thought about how McCarty did, but really the staff as a whole, he only gave up 6 hits in a midweek. That's incredible, right?
Yeah, I mean, Tulane's talented. We all know that. I mean, historically good. What they've got, 15 wins on the season. So I mean, they're no slump. I mean, I think they're a good team, and if you look at their roster, we were obviously doing a little research out in the right field roost and heckling some of their bullpen guys. Like they had a ton of graduate transfers, kids from UCLA, Virginia. They had they have a lot of talent, I think, on that roster. At least a lot of talent with a lot of experience. So yeah, I mean, I love to see McCarty go out. The freshman. I feel like somebody's got to step into that future weekend rotation role, and then I feel like he's the guy, obviously, who has been electric as he's kind of premiered this season, and I think he's just going to continue to get better. He just doesn't look like a freshman out there. I think we continue to say that over and over.
Yeah, no, but he's had some freshman moments, but the stuff's there, the moxie's there,
Mhm.
the the talent is there, obviously. But I mean, look, if you hadn't been through it before, right? I mean, this time last year he's facing high school baseball players, and
Right.
now he's facing Division I baseball players, most of them older than him. So it's a big step, but tonight was a step in the right direction, especially after this past weekend. We saw what happened on Friday. So McCarty goes 2 innings pitched, gives up 1 hit, 0 earned runs, had 1 walk, but more importantly, 0 walks. Right, that's the last thing that Oz ever wants to see. You've mentioned it before, Pilo, about Oz uses the term strike thrower quite a
Yep.
bit,
Uh-huh.
and we've gotten away from that sometimes. So it's nice to see us get back to it. Only 2 walks on the night compared to 8 strikeouts. Conversely, Tulane had 8 strikeouts and 6 walks. All 9 runs that Southern Miss scored tonight were earned, so it's not like it was given to us. We didn't have any fog balls or balls in the sun or anything
Although,
like
did you
that.
notice late in the game? I think about the time you guys were going up there to see Bake,
Mhm.
there was a little hint of rally fog that was wanting to come in. I don't know if you noticed it, but from like my angle, it was starting to show up. I was like, oh, could be something. Could be something rumbling out there out in the outfield. But
At one point we did have there was a kid and down the there's a kid out in front of us in the
yeah,
roost that was throwing a tree limb, like a pine tree limb, up in the air, and happened to just throw it behind him one time. He didn't mean to, but he did it, and it goes on the field. And so we're yelling at the Tulane
classic.
people. We're saying, "Look,
Yeah,
there's a stick on the field," and they were just looking back at us and kept. I was like, That's not a heckle. If it is a heckle, it's the worst heckle of all time. It's not a heckle. Come pick up the stick." They
yeah,
would never do it. Then they made a pitch and change, and we're like, "This is the perfect time, right?
yeah,
There's nothing going on right now. Come pick up the damn stick." They wouldn't pick it up, and we scored like 5 runs. So,
yeah.
so, so,
So
so, so it was a rally stick.
yeah, I agree. 16 ounce chimed in, said I love the sport of baseball, and I think I heard that a lot. I heard that multiple times tonight.
16 ounce was not at the game tonight, and I think we all deserve an explanation.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know.
Yeah.
Good friend Jackson Kennedy of the show said Russo had a heck of a game defensively, as he does. I mean, the dude is just a stud at first base. Like it's incredible the digs and the plays that he has.
No, he definitely holds it down over there. So how did everything get going tonight? Well, in the first inning, Carson Pato singles up the middle. Butler advanced to second, and Wilkes scores. So USM takes a 1-0 lead. The next run was on a Pato bomb to right field. He was given the little sign as he went around. I love that guy so much. It's great. And it's good to see him kind of getting back to what he was 2 years ago, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tulane tied it up after that, so it was a 2-0 lead. And in the fifth inning, Slayton homered to right field. with for a 2-run shot, so it's tied up 2-2. And we were kind of on
just
edge a little bit.
just over the glove there.
Yeah, we were kind of on edge a little bit, like, damn it, here we go.
Right.
But then Monastery doubles down the left field line. And by the way, let's just talk about Monastery for a second. My guy has been snake bit for a little bit. He had
Been
that
ripping the cover off of it.
So he was God, what inning was it? First or second inning? Or it was early in the game where it was bases loaded.
Yeah.
And he hits that slicer down the right field line. We all thought it was fair. It ended up being 3 or 4 feet foul. And then he hits a line drive off the barrel. The shortstop jumps up and grabs it. Finally gets this hit that we're talking about, now the left field line. And it even had to have a little luck to it, really. You know, he hit it hard enough to get a hit, but it had to have that early bounce off the turf to get over to third baseman's head. So that's a 2 RBI double down the left field line. So Southern Miss is up 4-2. Odom got a hit, singled up the middle in the 5th as well. 2 RBIs, so 6-4 Southern Miss. And we really didn't look back from that point. Pato had a double to right center. In fact, Pato, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong,
he was a
triple away.
He was. Yeah, that last at bat, I was like, come on. And
if you're a triple away from the cycle and you're
and he ripped that ball foul too.
Yeah.
If he hits that ball fair, it's a triple.
If you are a triple away from the cycle and you're up a bunch of runs, when you hit it, do you just keep on going?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's be honest. Tag you out. I'm never having a triple in my career, so I would probably stop at second if I had the chance. PTP Magic kind of chimed in. That is his new heckle, stick on the field. So he's going to start yelling that.
Love it.
And we did hear back from 16-ounce Lounge. He said he had to coach 5- and 6-year-old game tonight. So
5- and 6-year-olds don't play till 9:00 at night. So I'm going to call BS on that a little bit. Now, if you go 7 and 8, I might can buy it. 5 and 6, unless you're like
he's probably done by 6:30, so he could have been.
I think he could have made the game.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
One more. Attack Eagles chiming in.
You want me to read that one?
Yeah, you can read that one.
So Attack Eagles. Tuck Tulane can't start a winning streak without win number 1. Time to get it rolling, boys. And I would expect nothing less from Attack Eagles.
Yep.
Tuck Tulane. Could that be a shirt?
Yeah, this has definitely been made before, I'm sure.
Okay.
Circling back to Nick, Jackson said, clutch RBI, I agree, man. It's good to see that out of Nick.
Hey, and while so many people are on watching this thing right now, I would like to invite everyone to follow all of these people that are commenting on Twitter. 16-ounce Lounge is great. Pete Taylor Park Magic is great. Attack Eagles is great. He's built a following out of this world. Jackson Kennedy has been just my go-to and I think our go-to as a show for boots on the ground, like Pro Day, for instance. We wanted to have him on last night, but he had to work. And then your kid got sick, so we couldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
So here we are tonight. But man, Jackson Kennedy, I really wish I had all my stuff together like he does when I was his age. He's gonna end up being my boss, without a doubt, at some point in this lifetime. So go and follow all of those guys on Twitter. So we talked about McCarty English for a second. We talked about some of the offense that we had, but we mentioned there was only 6 hits given up the entire time. And the second guy that came into pitch tonight was Chandler Best.
Yeah.
And Chandler is the kind of guy. I mean, he's like 92 to 94 from the left, which is like Kirk McCarty, right? Maybe even faster than that. And like Dalton Rogers type of stuff, really.
Yeah, for sure.
So if Chandler can ever put it together all the time, he has just a super high ceiling. We saw a little bit of that tonight. He goes 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 runs, 4 strikeouts, and 0 walks, and just threw 33 pitches. So all of the guys that threw tonight are still able and ready to go for the weekend. You got McCarty, English going with 34 pitches, Chandler Best 33, JW Armistead 17 pitches. Middleton had to come in. Hey, I want to get your take on this, Pilo. What do you think about Middleton coming in as quick as he did, because he comes in the 6th.
Yeah, he threw 2 innings.
So he comes in, he throws 2 innings. He goes the 6th and the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily have to wait until the end to put your closure in.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I
how
like
do you
it.
feel about that?
Yeah, I don't have any problems with that because to me those outs in the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning are just as valuable as the ones at the ninth. So it kind of stunts any kind of life and comeback. And I feel like and unless it's like a Hail Mary in the ninth, which I know we've kind of struggled with in the ninth some this season already. Um, any kind of momentum, like you get a guy on base or you walk a guy that in those innings. So it's crucial to throw strikes and get guys out. I mean, it's cliche to say, but it's so important because any kind of mistake, error, walk, you're just, you're a couple of base hits in a row from letting the team get back in it.
And also, we have to limit the number of innings on these arms, right?
Mhm.
Going towards the end of the year,
Sure.
you're going to lean on the people on the players that have done the best and you have the most confidence in. But at the same time, you can't run them into the ground, right?
Right. Yeah.
Colby Allen, for instance, he's thrown just as many innings I think as Nico so far, so that has to be limited. And he threw an inning tonight. Cross Sibley threw an inning tonight, and all the guys look good. I think this is we've talked about before. What style of team do you expect out of a Coach Oz recruited lineup?
Mm-hmm.
And he's always going to have his thumbprint on the pitching staff, and it's going to be something like tonight, right? McCarty with 2, Chandler with 2, Armistead with 1, Middleton with 2, Cross with 1, Colby with 1. So anyway, they all look good. They're all different. They all threw a bunch of strikes. So that was good to see for sure. And the offense came alive. I mean, I guess we talk about it for that long. I really haven't talked about to this point in the season. We haven't seen many offensive outputs like we did tonight. And you're looking at Dalton McIntyre goes 2 for 4. Slade Wilkes goes 2 for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Butler 1 for 3, but took a bunch of aggressive hacks. Carson Pato, get hot, kid, 3 for 4, hit a bomb. Davis Gillespie 1 for 3. It's just hits up and down the lineup, right? So Matthew Russo with a hit, and you mentioned the good defense that he had coming in late in the game. Nick Monaster 1 for 4, but hit a bunch of balls hard. Lawson Odom had some key RBIs there.
Yeah, brought us.
Great. Gabe brought us 2 hits, so 14 hits total. I guess P, what did you see different, I guess, out of the approach maybe tonight? To me, we looked like we were in attack mode, right? And I'm not saying that Tulane is the best team in the world and all that, but we just lost 2 out of 3 to Georgia Southern. So
Yeah.
it's
No,
it's
I mean
nice to have a
they
bounce
look
back.
like they were receptive. I mean, I obviously, if you read Oz's comments, I mean, he wasn't shy that something had to change and that that we weren't playing very good baseball right now. So if he's saying that to the press and to the public, the guys in the locker room are getting an earful. So I think they've been challenged. I think they've probably been talked to, and it's time to get on the field and produce. So I did want to circle back around before we get too far down that Jackson made another comment that said he asked about using so many midweek relievers, and he said that Coach Oz said that we needed a play to win, and we used guys that could get us there. So I agree. I mean, you definitely want wins. You don't want to let guys in late. So by just saying, "Hey, we're going to commit to this guy," and if he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it.
Well, I think it's one of two things. I think you either have to have a designated dude that you're going to throw, right? That you believe in, that he can take you deep, just like a normal starter, just like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday guy. If you have a midweek guy, then you go with him. If you don't, then you go one time through the order,
right?
Which is kind of what we did tonight. So, and just expect all of them to do what they do in the bullpen, to do what they have been coached to do, and you don't let them see a second time through the order. So tonight was a perfect. Perfectly coached and perfectly pitched and perfectly hit. It was a great game to be a part of. I was glad that we were able to get out there and do it for sure. Any other comments?
Yeah, I think this is a good point. We did have 14 hits. Everybody loves to see it, but we did leave a lot of. I'm seeing 12, so 12 or 13. I'm not sure what that final number was, but still left a lot of guys on base. But again, I mean, we're getting them on base. I'd rather
That's
do
always the
that.
catch too, right? It's like,
Mhm.
man, you left so many people on base. Like, well, you got them. I get
Right.
it. It's. The stat that I would like to see when you score a whole bunch of runs. I'm guessing that most of the teams that score a bunch of runs have a bunch of people left on. Maybe, maybe not. If somebody has a stat on that, go ahead and hit us up. I'm not going to look it up. But the point is, if you're getting a whole bunch of people on base, you're probably going to score a lot. So when you score a lot, you're probably going to leave a lot of people on base.
Yeah,
If
and
you
two, I
don't,
mean, we throw what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys, 6 guys mixing it around, and we had 2 walks on the night. Tulane throws 7 guys, and they had 6 walks. So pretty impressive to see. Um, those 6 guys all throw like we said. I mean, they did wasn't really anybody that did bad. But again, like
it's hard to
you don't want to see
imagine.
guys walking people. That's what
No,
drives me nuts.
yeah, well, and offensively, it's hard to. I see Chad's comment right there. If you want to throw Chad's comment up,
Yeah.
So it's yeah, that is frustrating. I mean, this past weekend, look no further than tonight's, or I guess like 2 weeks ago when we go 4-0, right? Then last week when we go 1-3, and that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or however you want to
Yeah. It's true.
categorize it, it's this team to me seems to have an extremely high ceiling, but maybe not an extremely high floor, right? I mean, I think that we can be really awesome. I'm not sure we
Mhm.
can't be pretty bad,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
you lost 2 out of 3 to Georgia Southern, the lefty throwing 84, right? So if this team tonight played this past weekend, it's a completely different ballgame. But and that's part of the growing pains, and that's part of the reason that we have people like us that are they're going to get these guys back on track. So
Yep.
we'll see. And it's also that's baseball. It's hard to say that a lot, but a lot of times when you're talking to baseball people, the answer to the question that seems really weird is that's just baseball.
Yeah.
But it really is. So
It's true.
I don't know. Slade Wilkes, we mentioned him earlier, but he had a double tonight. Carson Pato, of course, with a double, only being that triple away from the cycle, and Nick Monaster with a double. You are down there, Pete. Well, you sit with us a lot, but you also hang out with John Smith and Todd Maddox and Sutton and all that crew.
Mhm.
Big tuna guys down there.
Yeah.
So tell me what was coming out of the corner down there about tuna. His swing looked to be back tonight. He's one of these. He's a microcosm of the last 2 weeks, I think. Right when
Yeah.
he's on, man, you talk about
Yeah.
like
When it seems like the secret is, and this may be cliche, but it. I mean, obviously, I think when we've been really good and scored a lot of runs, I think pretty consistently the top half of the lineup that we've had the last several games has been clicking, and then we kind of go cold toward the back half of the lineup. But if we can get that 5, 6, and 7 kind of hitting 4, 5, and 6, whether that's Tuna or um, you know Wilkes in there, when those guys are ripping the ball and Butler, like I don't know. I mean, it tends to make everything click, and maybe that's the secret sauce. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot, and I was kind of glad that I got to chime in at the very end of the radio broadcast and hear John Cox kind of interview with Tuna, and he talked about, I don't know if you heard that, but he said that
no, I didn't.
um, he asked a similar question about kind of what have you been working on? What's kind of been the secret to kind of getting back to the where we know you can be and things like that. And he really said honestly hasn't done anything different to his swing, that it's all mental. And he said a lot of times you hear like it's 98% mental and or
Mhm.
98% mental and 2% physical. And he's like, I believe it's 100% mental. It's like if we can slow the game down and get in the right headspace. So I think that for him, I mean, he's the one that answered that question. I think it was real telling to hear him say, like when he's struggling up there, I don't think it's something he's doing wrong in the swing. He thinks it's just a mentality.
Yeah, it's taking pitches that are hittable, right? We've talked about it before, just being in attack mode. And I think if you ask Tuna to his face, that's the way I believe you have to hit. I believe you have to hit in attack mode. I'm not saying be reckless, but you got to be, yes, yes, no, right? So,
right.
Anyway, and he's getting back to a lot of that. Get us caught up in some comments.
Yeah, Attack Eagle said, "I'd love to not hand out the pitcher of the week for SBC again. Got to keep this offense thing going."
Yeah.
16-ounce lounge
Agreed.
said he's scared to bring a radar gun there. I'm not sure who that was referring to. And then Attack Eagle said, referring to Marshall and Georgia Southern guys, going to compete 9 versus us. Got to get into the pen.
Referring to Marshall and Georgia Southern guys going complete 9 versus us. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess so. Good point.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
hey,
that Marshall guy throwing
both
9
lefties throwing 84.
Yeah.
Somehow that's our kryptonite.
Yeah, it seems like when those guys come in, we are always attacking that first pitch and usually popping it up or hitting it back in the infield.
So that goes against what I've been saying of being in attack mode.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I'm not that much of a baseball guy to know, like, do you wait? Like, usually are you going to get that first strike and then he's just going to try to paint the edges and it may be the best pitch you get? I don't know.
Looking at some stats on the season so far, there are only 2 Golden Eagles right now are hitting over 300. Dalton McIntyre at 345. Billy Butler is at 328, although I feel like Billy Butler's been slumping just a little bit. It's nice to be in a position where I can feel like you're in a slump and you're still hitting 328. After that, Davis Gillespie at 280.
It's just not hitting them to the moon like you did in Ruston. So.
God, I want to see one of those in person so bad.
I know. I was calling for it. I was like, come on. I wanted to see. I was like,
I saw him hit a couple in the spring scrimmages. I saw Gillespie hit one in the spring scrimmage that I'm not positive has landed. I am positive that it went further than the trace over the scoreboard.
Yeah.
I'm not positive if it's landed yet. That's how far he hit that ball. Are there any surprises for you, Pilo, so far this season? I read out some of the averages there. To me, I mean, seeing Monaster only hitting 220. You know what? Let's talk about that for just a second.
Yeah.
Number one, it's very good that you have a guy like Nick who can do so many things. I believe that he could be the Sunday starter right now, or at worst, the midweek guy. I also believe that he can play first base, second base. We started him off the year at center field. He's played all these. He's played a lot of third base, made incredible plays tonight from second base. I think that's affected his hitting a little bit. I also think he's a little bit snake bit. Like we mentioned, those 2 balls, the line out to shortstop and the slicer down the right field line tonight. Mm-hmm. Both of them, it could easily have been hits, right? And we could be talking about like, hey, he went 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs, star of the game. So I guess that would be my surprise so far, is that a person or player with Nick's ability is only hitting 220. Just seems unfathomable to me. I think that will creep up as the year goes along. He's just too good a player. But is there anything else on the list of stats that you would say surprises you so far this year?
I wouldn't say it's surprising, but I think it's good to see again. Like, we all know the year that Tuna had, his freshman year, and then the little, the slump that or just the year that he had his second year, I guess, that just wasn't as electric as his first year. And it's good to see him kind of trending the right direction. Like, he's up to second on the team in slugging. He's second, one behind Slade in runs scored. He's leading the team, tied with Slade in RBIs, second on the team in doubles. tied for first in triples, first in home runs. So it's like, he's kind of filling into that position. I'll not say it's a surprise, but um, it's good to see him back there. I think maybe not a surprise, but I loved the surge that Dalton McIntyre went into. Like him
Yeah.
batting like 550 over those like 11 or 12 games. I mean, that
It's hard
was
to believe at this point that Dalton McIntyre did not start the season playing center field. And
right.
Billy Butler did not start the season in the lineup or playing left field, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, credit to them when they got their shot, they made it happen, right? And maybe we'll see that out of the catcher position
Yeah.
moving along. I mean, I still have I like all of our catchers, but I I I would like to if Jacob Keys gets another shot. I mean, we all saw how he hit in the fall,
Yeah.
right? So not that every player we have back there, I like them equally. But somebody like Keys can get hot. And if they get hot and they get hot like Butler or McIntyre style, then they're going to play a lot more. Not saying
Mhm.
that I'm ever like rooting for or against anybody. I'm just saying I saw him hit a lot, and I love a lot of things about Odom, and I love a lot of things about Stockman. It's a position that, man, how many games are we into now? 30? No, what are we? 16-9. Anyway, 25 games or so into the
Yeah.
season, and I'm
Uh-huh.
still not positive who our guy is behind the plate, which is a good and I don't know, negotiable thing, I guess, not necessarily a bad thing. It's good that we have a bunch of guys that can do it. To wonder who's going to be back there every single solitary game might be a little bit weird, but
Yeah. I mean, like I agree. Attack. I mean, he said this team goes as far as Slade, Tuna, and Butler can take us, and you can throw Nick in there. I mean, those are the guys that we have to have rolling. I think then it kind of just becomes contagious. I think it gets the top and the bottom of the lineup going. Again, yeah, like this is perfect example. Tuna had 5 bombs this year. He only had 4 all of last year after having 16 in 22. So
those guys that he just mentioned, Slade, Tuna, and Butler, they have to be when they come up to bat, they have to be feared.
yes,
Every team's got them. Every great team has a few of them, and those guys in particular that Attack Eagles just mentioned, they need to be when they come up to bat, the other team's like, oh crap, right?
yeah, and then you
Or,
stack them on top of each other, and it's like, all right, we're gonna walk you, but then you got to face this guy.
so, but the deal is with our whole Jekyll and Hyde thing. Last year they weren't. I mean, last week they weren't feared. Maybe the week before they were. We
Yeah,
got some consistency out of the middle of that order. The top of the order has been better than the bottom of the order. I get that. That's the reason you're at the top and you're at the bottom. But the middle of that order, I think I need I think a little more fear factor.
yeah, I love that.
So anyway, but hey, great win. We're gonna let this go just a few seconds longer. We're a few minutes longer. If anybody has any questions, this is now the time to go ahead and type them in there. Pilo, can they ask questions on all 3 platforms
Yes,
or?
yep, all 3 platforms. It looks like the majority of our people are on Twitter right now, and so um, or X or whatever you want to call it. Let's take a 30-second, and then that'll give some people to kind of time to pop in a question, and then we'll be right back.
All right,
And
and
we're
we're back.
back.
Well, that's about all that I had to. I mean, and we have look. We can go over. I don't want to get into all the softball and stuff. I mean, it's late. Softball's
Hey.
killing it. We are gonna devote a good chunk of. I believe we're gonna record tomorrow night. We're gonna talk about women's basketball quite a bit because holy
Yeah.
crap, the Magnificent Seven How are they doing it? I don't know. I actually I was able to. I just kind of lucked into a situation the other night where I ended up at Sully's, and like a bunch of the women's basketball staff was there.
Yeah.
Ended up like in their group and talking about a lot of stuff. So I mean, it's incredible what they're doing. I don't want to just act like we're ignoring a lot of that, but that will be covered on the week's episode. Um, and tonight was a great win. It's always great to beat Tulane. It's great to win at anything. It's great to beat the Pete. Weather was nice. Crowd was, it was subpar for us. That being
Mhm.
said, it was 3 times what most people have. So that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Um, I'm sure the broadcast was fine with baking them. I've only watched one of those games. That's when I was sick like 2 weeks ago. Remember that on a Sunday? I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
make it, and
Yeah.
I listened or I watched the ESPN Plus broadcast.
Yeah.
Those guys do a fantastic job. Ran into 40 tonight. That was cool.
Yeah.
And he called me by my first name. I was like, "That's right,
He does that.
Mom. I made it." Right. And then I introduced him to Stephen Cooper. He was like, "Hey, Jason." I was like, "Hey, 40, how are you? This is Steve and Jeremy." I'm like, "Did you guys notice I didn't call you by your first name?" Anyway.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
Chad chimed in. This is a good question. Do we see Monastir pitch any this year? Are we
Nope.
going to need some seasoning before the tournament time?
Kind of feels like the Dickerson situation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where they
A little
talked
bit.
about it and talked about it and talked about it, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, well, he's just not going to throw." If you hadn't seen him at this point, I just can't imagine. I mean, I'm not at practice every day. I don't know if he's still throwing pins or not. I know he's still got a cannon. I know he probably could. At this point, can't we all agree that we just need Nick to get back to hitting, right?
Just keep smacking the cover off the ball, finding the
And
gap.
earlier when I was talking about Nick moving around positions, and I think that probably affects his offensive production just a little bit. Let's also not just throw out the fact that last year when he was producing a whole lot, he was nowhere near feared in the lineup at that point, right?
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
got guys like Dickerson, you got guys like Lynch, you had guys like Sarge, and not to mention Slade was still there, right? And Montenegro. So uh, Reese Ewing. Anyway,
Yeah.
he was the new guy. He's probably getting a lot of fastballs, and he destroyed it. And he's awesome, and he's going to be awesome again. He still is awesome, but it's not like people forgot what he did last year, So,
Right.
hey, let's not make a mistake to number 8. So that factors into a little bit of Nick hitting 220 as well, I think.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, now great comments. Hey, I see
Yeah.
where.
Great numbers too. I mean, it's continually climbing. I'm like, do we keep going?
Yeah,
But it is getting late.
no,
So
Dada, as
I
I'm
did have
called, has to
yeah.
go to sleep because I have to work early in the morning.
So I like to throw a random question at you. This is something I've screenshotted. Maybe we talk about it again tomorrow night.
Okay.
It's golf related because we did play in a golf tournament this past week. So this is a great question. Could you birdie all 18 holes at your local course? All right. You can play any hole as many times as you like, but you have 24 hours to birdie all 18.
No,
You
I
don't
could
think so?
not. No,
So here's a couple more
24 hours.
hypothetical. Okay. So you have the whole course to yourself. You can play the hole as many times as you want in any order. And you don't have to finish a hole. So like if you hit a bad shot, you can like go back to the tee.
Have you ever played golf with me, Pila?
Yeah, I have. You can get
How
it
how
going.
how quickly do you think I would lose interest in something like that?
Yeah, you wouldn't make it. I agree with that. You you would lose interest after 1 hour.
Yeah.
But it would be a cool challenge though. I think that would be awesome.
Well, you can go do that, and
No,
then you can come tell me about it.
I would need T-Row on call to give me steroid shots in my shoulder.
Yeah. I think if somebody came up to
golf
me,
career is coming
if I
quickly
was
to an
sitting at the
end.
bar and they told me they did that, and they were all fired up, like imagine like accomplishing the feat that you set out to do, and then you go and you sit next to a guy at the bar and you tell him the story. And the only thing I say is, why? Why would you do that?
You would say that. I'd be like, hey,
Why?
man, I birdied all 18 holes in 24
Be like,
hours. It only took me 19 hours to do it. And you'd be like, you're an idiot.
yeah. Be like, hey, man, I ran here from Collins. Why, bro?
Yeah.
Did it have
Yeah.
cars in Collins?
Yeah. Did
Is that the
somebody
reason you
chase
did
you?
that? Yeah. Are you like creating some kind of alibi? What's happening? Anyway.
Yeah, for real.
Well, look, bro, I appreciate everybody that's on. 213 people. That's amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like seems fake, honestly.
It really
But
does. At
that's
10:30
great.
at night.
I'm very happy that oh, I see. Wait a minute. Hosey. You see what he said? How do I put it up? There we go.
Yeah, we did talk about it, Jose. You were
Yes.
not here,
Yeah.
obviously.
Way to show up. I remember my first time on a live broadcast. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to record again tomorrow night. We're going to talk a lot of women's basketball, talk about the great series that the softball team had at home over one of the top teams in the Sun Belt.
A new
Took
home
2 or
run
3.
queen.
New home run queen, and one of the
Yes.
best videos the Southern Miss creative team has put out. And if you haven't seen Moneyball, go freaking watch it. It's one of the best movies ever made. The soundtrack is amazing, and then go watch the Hannah Borden video because it's insanely good.
Awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Pilo, why don't you go ahead and you want to shut her down? You want to do the whole thing?
Yeah, I don't have the notes up there, but I can do it. Give me a second.
Yep.
Talk about something.
Okay. I will talk about attack.
Hosey, so what did y'all have down there in 39 tonight to eat? Oh yeah, we could talk about that while I'm looking. I got to give a shout out to Grant at Grateful Soul. Today is, if you go to Grateful Soul downtown, Tuesday, you would know, is fried chicken day. So
he hooked us up.
He brought in 2 massive trays of chicken that they had that he stayed late and cooked and brought to the roost, and it was awesome. So
I handed it out the whole way down. I stopped by and he's like, man, you gotta have some chicken.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Even though, Farmer at our spot brought the shish kebabs, right?
Yeah.
And there was pork loin, and there, we had a nice spread. We took a bunch up to bake and rust them in the 7th or 8th inning, I think.
Yeah, 7th, I think.
But yes, so as I'm walking by your adopted spot down there.
Yep.
He's like, have some chicken. So I was like, I can't turn down fried chicken. That's impossible. So I didn't. And
all I can say is me and Jeff Donaldson stopped counting after we had 3 pieces. So,
well, I tried to grab 1 chicken leg. I was like, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And he was like, no, take this. And he hands me a tray of like 9 pieces of chicken.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Like, I don't know what you think my diet's normally like, but okay. And so I started walking. As I'm walking down, everybody's asking. So I'm just handing out pieces of chicken. By the time I get to our spot, there's only like 2 pieces left. Right. I think Hosey got one of those. But it was great. No, you're right.
Yeah. 16 ounce size Nitro was there, and he was in full form roasting the Tulane bullpen. It was outstanding.
And he also
great.
He also checked the air pressure down on our end on our front tires.
Nice.
Yep. He's like, can I check the air pressure? I was like, what? Air pressure. Can I check it? I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
Anyway,
I think we're going to shut this thing down. Yeah, we're good. Yeah. So this episode of To the Top Talk Live I don't think I put live up, but oh well. We were live, obviously. Brought to you by Mugshots Grill and Bar, where they're always having a good time. Happy hour specials daily, and for a limited time, they are bringing back some of their oldies but goodies. Go check them out soon. Go see our good friends at Mugshots in Hattiesburg today. Mugshots delivering craveable food and personalized hospitality to friends and family in a place obsessed with sports. So we appreciate you guys again. Thank you for listening in wherever you might have listened, and whichever platform you chose to listen in on. Remember, you can follow Jason at Bumper J Bailey and me at P Lowry. Follow us on all our socials at To The Top Talk, and don't forget about the mailbag. We probably don't check that enough at To The Top Talk at gmail.com. And we hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell somebody to the top today. And as always, Southern Miss.
To the top.
Talk.
I could play for Alabama, USC,